Test, test. 1, 2, 3. Test, test. Okay, we are good. Hopefully. Hopefully my mic is not clipping too hard. That would be a bit of a disaster. But hello everyone. I don't know why why these pointers are showing up on my thing. Do I need to like deselect? There we go. Okay. Yes. Hello everyone. Hello, hello. Today's stream is going to be a bit of a short one because I just got home from an errand and I'm still recovering from the week and a half where I could not catch a break. Um, hopefully I'll be back on track to do stuff tomorrow. I mean, I've got a new song dropping soon too. Because my commencement was last week, as I talked about in one of the posts I made. Yeah, so that's the deal for today. We are just going to be playing some Kerbal Space Program. I did a few test flights off camera, and um, hopefully we should be good to go for real today. We're going to be going to the moon. So, yeah, we're going to be flying to the moon. It's going to be as close to an Apollo style mission that I was able to manage. Let me just try to figure out which scene I had my Kerbal Space. I turned the cloud bot off. I hate you, Streamlabs. No, fuck off, Streamlabs. I pinned a message instead about the fucking about the thing, cause I'm trying to move away from relying on Streamlabs for doing shit. Also, I have no clue why. I've no clue why Kerbal Space Program decided to full screen itself. I put it in windowed mode last time because I know OBS fails to capture things that are in full screen. Yeah, I don't know why Kerbal Space Program decided to full screen itself when I specifically did not want that because of the way OBS fails to capture full screen apps. I noticed this on like I think it was my N++ stream last time. You're gonna see episode 9 of Digital Circus in theaters. I want to, but number one, I don't know if my day job will allow that or if I'll have to like plan around that for my day job. I'll have to figure that part out. And number two, I've heard plenty of horror stories about the theater experience that make me wonder if it's going to be worth going. The last movie I ever saw, the last time I saw a movie in theaters was Oppenheimer. So the most recent movie I saw in theaters was Oppenheimer. That was like 4 or 5 years ago, I want to say. And since then, I've heard horror stories about the theater experience, particularly coming from Iron Lung, but also, but I mean, people say it about the theater experience in general as well, primarily pertaining to like poor hygiene by the general clientele at theaters. So, yeah, for that reason, I don't know if I'm gonna see it in theaters, but I want to, because I want to know what happens, and I want to. I mean, I don't want to spoil it for anyone. If I talk about it, like I said on my episode of Snake Stories, if I talk about it, I will put like the biggest of spoiler warnings I can. Just because I don't like spoiling stuff that genuinely should not be spoiled. Okay, hold on. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why Kerbal Space Program decided to unfull screen itself. That is so weird. All right, let me see here. Do I have a Kerbal Space Program window? I do not. Okay, so let's do KSP. The name is already in use. Why? Why OBS? In what window do I have? Okay, there's probably, hold on. In what window do I have Kerbal Space Program? What? It's not that. Is it this? Oh, it's a game capture thing. Okay. That is that is very strange. All right, hold on. Hold on. Sandboxes. Going to add a game capture. And it's going to be Kerbal Space Program. Here we go. All right. Okay, now hopefully we can actually get to what we're doing today. Ha! Perfect. All right, so, except not perfect. I don't know where chat is. No, chat is here. Okay. 2026 has been a good year for movies, so I just thought of mentioning it. Going to see The Furious and The Backrooms too. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I have heard, I've been seeing a lot of hype around the Backrooms movie as well, so I imagine that would be interesting. Okay, let's just go into our sandbox save. Like I said, we're just going to be doing the flight today. Because I did a crude test flight. Off stream. And it went well. We were able to get a free return trajectory around the moon. The only thing was, when I did Kerbin reentry, there was a lot of, there was a shit ton of atmospheric, what is it? Atmospheric skimming, that's what it is. We were going way too fast when I tried to do atmospheric reentry. So I need to do like a steeper reentry at a lower altitude. I think last time I tried 40,000, I tried 40 kilometers and that wasn't enough. And I had to do like several orbits around. So we're just gonna launch and see how this goes. I think I'll try an atmospheric reentry altitude of 30 kilometers and hope that doesn't just completely blow up the command pod. Hope that it doesn't just completely blow up the command module as it comes around. Okay, so looks like we are ready to go here. Just need to adjust my monitor real quick. Oh, wow. There's a lot going on. Feels like you're combining video game mechanics with Microsoft Word. Very interesting. Yeah, you've never seen Kerbal Space Program? Oh my gosh, you're in for a treat then. Yeah, basically this is a game where you build rockets and then you fly them. So, this is a rocket that I spent a whole bunch of time building, the Kerbal Joule 5, and it's basically like my best attempt at a replica of the Apollo Saturn V rocket. Yeah, you're going to be in for a fun time if this is your first time playing Kerbal Space Program, or first time seeing it. But yeah, there's a lot of custom. I mean, this isn't how you have to build every single rocket in the game. I've built tons of other ridiculous contraptions before, but this is like a replica of a historic space mission, sort of. I'm not going to get the trajectories and whatnot right. But when people say, like, this game literally... When people say this game is rocket science, they mean it. It's literally rocket science. So, we're going to start here. This is our T+ countdown. So, we're just going to go, like... let's warp to sunrise real quick. Yeah, okay. So, we're going to begin our launch in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Uh-oh, that's not good. Why didn't the launch clamps release? Uh-oh. What? What the fuck just happened? Why is this... Okay, hold on. That was not supposed to happen. Okay, well... the engines just ignited and then died shortly after that. Okay, let's warp to sunrise and try this again. Okay. We are going to activate our stability assist. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What? Okay, I think something about... I don't think the launch clamps... I don't think this thing particularly likes the launch clamps. This is like Roller Coaster Tycoon, but for 12th grade students who know more about rockets than roller coasters. Yeah, that's pretty apt, I would say. Okay, so clearly something is breaking. Clearly something is breaking anytime I do that, so instead what I'm going to do is just start the engines and not throttle up all at once. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. We have commit and we have liftoff. Okay, now we've done it. Why is the rocket veering to the left? Oh! Oh, there's a severed fairing. Okay, so... Oh, that's gonna crash right into the vehicle assembly building. Oh. Okay, I'm very surprised that amount of mass was not enough to destroy the VAB. Okay, so, that's why the rocket kept failing, because this fairing, okay, for the record, that was through no fault of my own. Yeah, okay, so we need to turn rigid attachment on, and do we have auto strut enabled on this thing? No, let's get auto strut on that. We'll get auto strut on this part as well, and we'll enable rigid attachment. What the fuck? Okay, that was... What? Okay, hold on. That's why the fucking thing... Okay, this is just a... Welcome to Kerbal Space Program, guys. This is how shit likes to work sometimes. Okay, so... That was very weird. That was the physics engine being very weird. Okay, well, hopefully we shouldn't have problems this time. I was wondering why that launch wasn't working out right. It was because there was this piece that refused to stay attached to the rest of the rocket when we would have liftoff. Okay, so let's go ahead and warp to sunrise again, and then we will actually do this. All right, let's start our engines. 3, 2, 1, 0. We have commit and we have liftoff. And hopefully the rocket hasn't severed itself at this point in the structure. Because I reckon that that was what was happening. Yeah, okay, so we are actually going straight up now. And that's it. We have a rocket that is flying. Let's turn on the reaction control thrusters as well, just for that extra bit of stabilization. I'm surprised how fun this looks compared to what I'm used to. Oh man, Kerbal Space Program, like, Kerbal Space Program is seriously a classic before Take-Two Interactive came and ruined it. Yeah, here's the thing. Just don't buy Kerbal Space Program 2. Don't buy Kerbal Space Program 2, it's a garbage game. Just play Kerbal Space Program 1. Kerbal Space Program 2 does not exist. Yeah, don't buy 2, just play 1. This is Kerbal Space Program 1 that I'm playing right now. Okay, so I think we are ready to begin our pitch to the right. Okay, we're pitching, or, well, technically we're yawing. We're yawing 10 degrees to the right. I think the correct procedure was to, I think normally the correct procedure is to roll first and then pitch, but you know what? I'm a rebel. We are yawing and then rolling. And we have stage 1 separation. Okay, no engine failure on stage 2, thank fuck. Our apoapsis is up 50,000. Do you know how much megabytes or memory it is to install? If not, yeah, I think the game is at least like... I know it's not anything egregious like AAA games these days, but it's a pretty sizable game. I'm looking in Steam right now. Okay, the game... I have both DLCs for the game as well. The game plus both DLCs is about 6 gigabytes in size. Yes, it is available on Steam. That's the main place where you want to buy it. Okay, so we are pitching. Yes, I just checked Steam. Kerbal Space Program is about 6 gigabytes in size. Okay, so this is the part where we are going to attempt to enter a stable orbit. We are just going to pitch down to about 10 degrees attitude here. I think 120 is going to be a good apoapsis to go for here. We're just going to warp a little closer. And then from there, we can throttle our engines back up and try to close this orbit out with only with the second stage. And hopefully the second stage will be enough to carry us to orbit. That is one slight deviation that I make from the original Apollo launch, just because I got a bunch of the parts and masses messed up. I think in the original Apollo mission, the first stage took the crew to a suborbital trajectory, and then the second stage was meant to inject them into an orbit. Yeah, unfortunately, I did not have the means to do that. Here's the... Oh, I haven't touched... Wow. Yeah, I forgot I had the KSS here. I haven't touched the KSS in a while. But yeah, I have a space station in low orbit over Kerbit. We're going to set our target to the moon, because that's ideally where we will be headed very soon. Okay, so that's kind of an offset orbit. I don't know how much I like that. But we can go ahead and jettison the second stage now and begin the third stage. I did not put Separatrons on the second stage. I thought I did in the crewed... What? What? Wait. Okay, well, there goes the launch escape to... Why did I just... Hold on. Okay, that... What? Okay, yeah, so... Houston, we've had a problem. We have already had a problem. We have, okay, so that's... Yeah, we've had a problem. Basically, we have prematurely jettisoned the CSM, and we are rapidly drifting away from the rest of the rocket. So this means we will either have to perform an abort or try and get back on course here. Okay, so we're just gonna do a quick burn towards the rest of the stage, and we'll just try and dock this, we'll just try and dock this fucking thing. We'll just try and dock this fucking thing with a limb. With the, landing module. With a lander module. Or technically it's the Mooner. It's the Mooner module, but you get my point. Oh shit, we are approaching way too fast. We are approaching way too fast. We are about to sail past it. Okay, I'm gonna have to revert. I should have quick saved at some point, because that means we're gonna have to first reconfigure some staging, and then, do this all fucking over again. Okay, so, where did it go wrong? So there's that. So the Separatrons worked. Then we should have opened the fairing. What should we have done next? We should have opened the fairing. The S4B, yeah, the third stage decouples after we've turned around and docked with a limb, with a lander. Okay, why did everything just suddenly get fucked up? Hold on. What are these? Oh! These separate the okay, hold on. What? When did that get there? Okay, hold on. Okay, so we open the fairing, and then we separate the CM. We separate the CSM. This is the part where we flip the command module around to dock with the lander module. Then we separate the third stage. Okay, then we separate the third stage. And then we have the lander module engine when we undock. Then we have the ascent module for the lander. And then the decoupler for the command module, and finally the parachute. Okay. I don't know why the staging got messed up. So are the gaming mechanics and option choices different between launch and being out of orbit? No, the controls are largely the same. The controls are the same because all you're really doing is like throttling up and down and steering your vehicle. And steering your aircraft or spacecraft. The fairing. Fairing is F-A-I-R-I-N-G. Foxtrot, Alpha, India, Romeo, India, November, Golf. And the fairing basically protects everything enclosed inside it. The fairing is basically meant to protect everything enclosed inside it, and it also makes the rocket actually aerodynamic and capable of flight and capable of atmospheric flight when transporting a payload. So when certain rockets, like I think the Delta IV Heavy does this. When the Delta IV Heavy launches a payload into space, that payload is encased in a fairing. Because otherwise it would be an aerodynamic nightmare in the atmosphere. So this fairing right here is basically making sure that there's sort of aerodynamic continuity with the rest of the rocket, and the lander module is inside here. So the lander module is encased inside this fairing, and that's what prevents this rocket from like flying strangely when it's in the atmosphere. In space it doesn't matter, and that's when they open the fairings up to allow for flight in space in a vacuum, because you know it's a vacuum, there's no aerodynamics. Holy shit, my phone that I'm using to read chat is low on power. I need to find my charging cable. Okay, we are not ready for, oh, this is the cable. Okay, here we go. in. Okay. Now my phone's not going to die, and I'm not going to lose the ability to read chat randomly at some point during the stream. Okay, so once this atmosphere gauge... for remembering the name and motion of steps to take, maybe not there, I'm trying to follow. I mean, like I said, you're literally doing, it's hard to explain. It's kind of hard to explain because you are literally doing rocket science in this game. So, rocket science. I mean, just from the fact that it's rocket science, you can probably guess what we're dealing with here. Alright, roll completed and we're pitching. Okay, so that's our launch escape system that's going to get jettisoned while we're doing the burn. Okay, so does stage 1 actually get us on a suborbital trajectory? It does not look like it will. So we are going to have to throttle stage 2 down and then throttle it back up a little bit when we reach Apo. Okay, there we go. Oh, okay, yeah, half the Separatrons exploded for some reason. That is awfully strange, but... fuck it, we're gonna do it. Okay. We are now pitching to a, we're now at 45 degrees pitch. For someone who doesn't know rocket science, it's fun to try to understand from an uneducated point of view. Yeah. I mean, you're here to watch. Really what you're here to watch is just the rocket flying. I'm the one who does all of the... I'm the one who's going to be tasked with all the... It's not exactly... I mean, the game simplifies a lot of stuff, so you don't actually have to do a great deal of math. You just have to remember a few numbers and a few buttons. And as long as you pack enough fuel and enough boosters, you'll be okay. But it is still very fun. It's like Ace Combat for nerds. Almost. And there are actually mods that add weapons to the game as well. Like, BD Armory is the main one that comes to mind. The option bar is on the left. Oh yeah, this is showing all of our staging. So this basically shows which engines start, which decouplers are jettisoned, and in what order. And I did not mean to stage that. I meant to throttle down. So that's just going to go careening off into nowhere. But there goes our second stage, and it's probably gonna crash down on the surface of Kerbin. It's fine. We've got a solid apoapsis for orbit, so we're just gonna warp to. We're gonna warp to just before that. And go ahead and start the. Hopefully what will be an orbital injection burn with our third stage. And this third stage is also going to be important for trans-lunar injection. It is going to actually get us on a trajectory towards the moon. Okay, so we have now circularized. Yeah, we have now circularized, so this is the part where I screwed up last time in the order of the staging. So, we should be opening the fairing. There we go, fairing is open. And then if I stage again, there we go. Okay, so the CSM has now, the command module has now come detached from the lunar module, or the lander module. And this is the tricky part. We're going to get some distance away from the lander module. And we're going to set this as our target. Because what we're going to do is, we're going to flip the command module around. Yeah. We're going to flip the command module around. And now we need to dock it with the lunar module. And this is the part of the procedure where I usually get it screwed up. Because, as you can see, my placement of the RCS thrusters is not perfect. So we just gotta cancel our relative velocity. Get the camera locked in here. Start burning towards the... So as long as it crashes on Earth, it won't be sent off into space. Yeah, we don't like... we definitely do not... we are not big fans of space debris here. So let's go ahead and rotate... let's try and rotate our vessel so that we get more closely aligned. Go ahead and shift ourselves over to the left a little bit. Rotate ourselves again. Shift to the right. We need to continue doing our translation work. There we go. Okay, we are almost in alignment. Oh, geez. Okay. I accidentally had the rotational mode set. Okay, linear. There we go. We are almost in alignment with the lander module. You spun that around like a s'more in a campfire. Hell yeah. All right. So we need to start making our moves towards the lander module now. Okay, there's the docking port. We're gonna try and kill some of this relative velocity. Oh my god, is the lander module and the stage rotating? Oh my god, it's moving. Why is it moving? No, this should not. Okay. We need to get this docking sequence done. We need to get this docking sequence done ASAP. Stuff is rotating, I think. Okay. Up, right. Go. Go. Just go. Just go. Okay. Go into the thing. Oh my god, we're gonna run out of RCS before. Okay, hold on. We have movement. Stop trying to move the thing. Okay, hold on. We have movement. Oh, the magnetic coupling is right there. Okay, perfect. Oh my god. You spin me right round, baby, right. Okay, so we're gonna control, okay, so we need to control this docking port now. And hopefully we can get ourselves reoriented here. Yeah, okay, so we need to get ourselves reoriented for the translunar injection burn now. Yeah, we're going to be using weird controls here. Okay, so this engine we can shut down real quick. Okay, and we're going to go for translunar injection. And then once we have translunar injection, that's when we eject this thing. And ordinarily for a true Apollo-style mission, we would be crashing this third stage. We would be smashing this third stage into the moon and recording seismic data. Watching your stream learning about rockets while simultaneously watching Jujutsu Kaisen Season 3 while drunk has been a great viewing experience for the unemployed. Thank you, Snek. You're welcome, T. Liminal. Yeah, it's always my duty to entertain. Okay, so we actually need to figure out where the moon is and calculate and plot out our translunar injection burn based on that. So I'm gonna give this a try first. Okay, so we have an encounter with the moon there. No, we don't. There we go. Okay. So that's going to be it. And now we just need to figure out... There we go. Okay. That's what I like. That's what we want. Okay. Because now, if we... Wait. What? What the fuck? Okay, hold on. What's going on here? Okay, there we go. All right. Yeah, this game is a little bit buggy sometimes. It has a little bit of that jank, as you are probably noticing. Because I have no idea what's going on with this orbit. Okay, you know what? We're just going to roll with that. This is roughly the closest to a free return trajectory that I think we'll be able to get. And then we'll do a... Sorry for random expressions and oversharing. This is chilling cool. Now there's constellation patterns happening. What's next? Okay, so... Next, we are going to be doing the Transmooner Injection Burn. And we're calling it Mooner instead of Lunar because this is Kerbal Space Program and not real... it's not real aerospace. This is not Artemis 3 we're flying here. So, what we now have here is we are going to set our course and our sights for the moon. And the way this is going to work is we're going to warp here for a little bit. Yes, I'm looking at a larger map of space right now. So this is Kerbin, which is our home, the analog in this game for Earth. This is the moon, and this is our target. This is our objective. Out here is Minmus. I don't know why Minmus is purple. It's normally green, I think. But out here is Minmus, which our Earth does not have. Our Earth does not have a second moon. But Kerbin has 2 moons, and this is the solar system. The solar system looks a little bit weird, again, because it's not a perfect analog of our solar system. But we've now exited out of the map view. We are back in the camera view. We don't have a great deal of monopropellant to spare, so we have to be careful with that. But our next move is going to be the Transmooner Injection Burn. And we are go for the burn, I think. Yeah, we are at about the right time for the maneuver. So, let's go ahead and begin the Transmooner Injection Burn. Hopefully this engine has enough fuel left to complete it. If not, we will have to... Okay, so we're going to have to abandon the idea of sending this third stage off into space. We're just going to jet... Uh-oh. I did not like the sound of that. That's a potential problem. Okay, I'm going to try that again. Okay, it did work. Cool. Okay, so we've separated the third stage. And now what we need to do is activate this engine. And we're going to control our... Where's control from here? Here it is. We're going to hit control from here. We are going to flip the command module and lander module assembly around. And we're going to complete the Transmooner Injection Burn with our service engine, which will hopefully have enough fuel to make it. I have my doubts, but it looks like it's going to do it. Okay, yeah, there wasn't too much to be worried about. Okay. So, we should hopefully now have an encounter with the moon. There we go. Okay. So, we are on course for an encounter with the moon now. I don't know why the orbit is so flickery. Okay. You know what? That's close enough. Our maneuver is done. Okay, so we are now getting within the moon's sphere of influence, and we are going to have to do one more course correction burn, I think. No, this is like a good semblance of a free return trajectory, even if these markers are being a little weird. So I really only saw how cool space was from recent videos I found over early 2020s. The video Fear of Space really makes it seem super cool. Interesting. Yeah. Iron Mouse actually hates space. Fun fact. Space terrifies Iron Mouse like shit, which I think is kind of funny. So, now what we have to do is a couple of things. First, we're going to get over to the moon, and then we are going to circularize around it. I think 35 kilometers is a good periapsis here. So we're going to warp to the moon. I need to move this stage here. Let's see. Yeah, we'll just warp to the spot where we encounter the moon. Oh god, what? What the fuck? Oh, that's why it was what? Okay, well we just did a full orbit around Kerbin, but you know what? Fucking fine. 35k. That's a pretty good periapsis to be on. So we're gonna warp to around here, and we are going to go for our circularization. We have a pretty good amount of electric charge, so we don't need the fuel cells just yet. Get some lights on here as well. Yeah, so we're just gonna warp to like here. And we're just gonna burn retrograde. I need to make sure I'm still controlling it from the command module. I think I am. So that's fine. But yes, we are controlling it from here. Okay. So let's go ahead and do our circularization burn now. This is going to close our orbit around the moon so that we're not going to get flung back to Kerbin once we pass by it. And I'm watching our fuel gauge right here closely. Okay, so we have a periapsis of 12. 12k. Okay, so we need to get that up, I think. Let's add a maneuver. Yeah, that'll do. Okay. Yeah, I'm not a professional at this, so when I do stuff with the orbital mechanics in this game, there is often inevitably going to be a little bit of jank. But we've got fuel to spare, I think. Okay. So we've got that. Now we just need to move closer to periapsis and circularize. That game is just hard. I tried to play it, but I eventually had to cheat as I was trying to reach min-miss. Yeah, I've done that before too. I just get like infinite fuel and strap a mainsail to a command pod and just go straight for min-miss, like full throttle slam. Okay, so we're gonna warp just a little bit of a ways ahead. so that we can actually try and properly circularize here. So let's go ahead and throttle on up. Yeah, because if we don't circularize now... If we don't circularize now, then that's going to make things a shit ton more difficult once we've actually landed on the moon. Because then we get the ascent stage. My mother is currently in France now. Ah, interesting. Yeah. If we don't circularize now, that's going to make everything that follows once we've landed on the moon a shit ton more difficult. Because we're going to have to dock... well, we can't get a perfectly circular orbit now, can we? I mean, I'll be damned if I don't try, but... Okay, you know what? That's close enough. We've got a fairly circular orbit around the moon now. It's on kind of a weird tilt. Did you name any of your ships Super Ghostbuster references? I should. You know what? I should. I should give like a rover. I should name a rover like Crazy Ghost PP or something. No, I haven't done that though. I've just called this the Joule 5. After the Saturn 5, and that's the logic behind that naming. Okay. So, our next order of business is going to be to transfer 2 of our crew members. Let's see. Bill is an engineer and Bob is a scientist. So, we're going to take Jebediah and Bob out of the command module now. So, we are transferring Jebediah Kerman to the lander module. And we're going to do the same for Bob Kerman, because he's the scientist and he's going to be running all of our experiments. Let's warp around to the illuminated side of the moon so that we can get a better view of our spacecraft as well. Because it is looking quite snazzy at this moment. Yeah, look at that. This is what we've got to work with here. Okay, so that is way too fast of a PTC roll here. Did you look into Voices of the Void yet? Not yet. I've not looked into Voices of the Void yet. Okay, so let's open this up. We're going to extend our magnetometer boom. We need to get our high gain. And we have some experiments to conduct in orbit around the moon. So, let's go ahead and run this experiment. Trace magnetic fields are magnified by the sensitive instrument and measured in real time as you orbit near the celestial body. It's almost like hearing the heartbeat of a planet, knowing if it's dead inside or if something is churning. Okay. We'll go ahead and observe the mystery goo. The goo feels right at home here. Okay, interesting. Material study. The high radiation environment caused a few of the samples to glow. It looks like it would be fun to paint the rocket with this. Got a thermometer. Collected and recorded temperature data. Okay, that's fine. I don't think this works. No, it doesn't. Okay. What about this? The instrument reads 0. It's as if we're in a vacuum. Okay, very good. The instrument surveys for changes in the gravity field of the moon. This data will help to accurately calculate the mass of the body. Okay, very good. You should call the probes the ghosts, or maybe the Rat Man. True. The burger has a ghost. Okay, so... with that, that's a fuel cell. We don't need to start the fuel cells here. Okay. And we'll just extend this because Stuff sticking out of stuff makes it look science-y. Okay, so we've done all of our orbital experiments on the moon. And now it is time to descend. So we're going to undock. Here it is. We're going to undock this. Activate the... this is the descent stage engine, right? Yeah, we've got the descent stage. Going to back away from the command module a little bit so that we don't just smash into it on our way down to the moon. And, yeah, our course for... I think our course for Lunar Descent is a go. So let's go ahead and deploy the landing gear. We're going to have some experiments to conduct here. We're going to extend our antenna as well so that we have telemetry data going back to Kerbin. And now, let's see. I think what we want to do is we want to go ahead a little bit. Yeah, there's the CSM. Okay, so we want to go ahead a little bit just so that we can land on the light side of the moon. And now this is the part where we just burn retrograde and slow our lunar module down for descent. And I think what I want to do is try and land at this big old crater right here. That seems like a good spot to touch us down. It's a very delicate operation we're running. Yeah, I want to land on a relatively flat spot too. We can probably do some corrections when we get there, but this giant crater seems pretty appealing. So, provided the moon doesn't rotate underneath us, I kind of want to try and land there. Yeah, we'll set that spot as our goal for touchdown and see what happens as we get closer. So, we're going to go ahead and warp down. We are on the lit side of the moon, so that's very good. As we continue our descent here, we are going a little fast for my liking, so I'm going to do a burn as we're on our way down just to slow us a little bit. Yeah, we are coming in ridiculously fast, so this is needed. The Ghost Johnson probe is landing. Hello, my name is Ghost Johnson. I played drum solo to bring grandma back. Okay. Oh gosh, docking this thing with the command module is going to be a nightmare when we get to it, I think, as well. Okay, so we're just doing the occasional burn to keep us at a reasonable speed for landing. Lately, I've been getting into horsey game. Oh, Uma Musume, yes. I still want my first Uma Musume experience to be on stream. So that's why I have, that's why I haven't played it yet. But I've considered, this is why I had to cheat. Oh, not Uma Musume, okay. It's literally called horsey game, okay. Huh, today I learned. This is why I had to cheat. One of the reasons anyway. Yeah, landing is tough. Landing without smashing your vehicle into the... Without running your... running out of fuel and then smashing your vehicle into the moon is a tough one. We have fuel in the ascent stage. Which I think we're going to need to start using. Ah, shit. Okay, hold on. Out. Yeah, we're going to have to start siphoning fuel off from the ascent stage to keep us going. Because I did not think this entirely through. Hopefully the ascent stage will have enough fuel and we won't have to do like an EVA rendezvous with our command module. We shouldn't, I don't think. I only estimated the amount of fuel we would need a little bit. It's gonna be kind of a rough landing, Jeb and Bob. Watch the fuck out. Oh gosh, okay, hold on. Wait. Ha! There it is, we've done it! I'm trying to learn about this game to feel a little smarter about myself. You do feel smarter playing this game, T-Liminal. It's a fun game, and the game encourages you to break it. Interesting. Okay, well, there it is. We have touchdown. So we can go ahead and shut this engine down now. We don't need it. And we need to put all the fuel and oxidizer back in the ascent stage now. Because we need to be able to get back to the command module once we are done here. So, we've got a couple of experiments to run here on the surface. Atmospheric analysis can't be done right now. Okay, that's fine. Resource analysis performed for the moon farside crater. Cool. That was not entirely what I meant to do, but they're the penguins called Prinnies that tend to stay dude at the end of their sentences. They also explode if you throw them. Interesting. Okay. So, we've got our ladders deploying here. Jeb, why don't you do the honors for us? Jeb is now climbing down the ladder. I think this is the light. Yeah, this is the light. Look at that. We have done it, chat. Okay, it is time for Bob to go on EVA now. He is making his way down. Are you sending your data back to Sweden? Well, we have ghosts. We might have ghosts on the moon. Ghosts of all the other Kerbals who I've smashed down on this place. All right, we're gonna take a surface sample here. Okay, I don't know what this is, but that's fine. We're gonna take a surface sample. There are large concentrations of melted byproducts here. Some appear to be formed by intense pressures and heat. Very cool. I don't want to click lower visor because he might... Oh, that's remove helmet. Okay. So if I hit lower visor, yeah, that looks like the actual, you know, spaceman thing. I'm going to raise visor. EVA report. You start to say something dramatic and poignant about the plight of Kerbal kind in this grand universe, only to be cut off by random radio chatter that the situation is nominal. Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay, so Bob has done his scientific observations. It is now Jeb's turn to plant the flag. Where's the plant flag button? Aim camera, lower plant flag. Here it is. What's our text on the flag gonna say? One small step for Kerbal. We're gonna say 4 super Kerbin. Jeb played way too much. Jeb played way too much Kerbal Divers before going on this mission. For Super Kerbin. There's our flag. Okay. We have planted a flag on the moon. Look at that. That is simply glorious. Make it something you would hear on Super Ghostbusters. Oh, that's never going to escape me, is it? Look at them. They are happy as can be here on the moon. All right, I think Jeb is getting bored, so we are going to make our way back. We never actually tested the we never actually tested the lander module, so I don't even know if this ascent stage will even work, but we're going to give it a try and see what happens. Because what am I if not an experimenter here? I haven't played Kerbal Space Program in ages, but okay, we can go ahead and retract this ladder. And now we are ready to fire off the ascent stage. So we'll throttle our engines up. Actually, not throttle them up yet. I need to make sure this engine will not stage itself. So let's go ahead and do that. Throttle up, and we do need to retract this antenna just for the deployment of the ascent stage and takeoff. 3, 2, 1, ascent, actually, hold on. Okay, so this is going to be our target. I switched to it. I did not mean to do that. I meant to set that as the target because we are going to need to do some maneuvering to, once we get the ascent stage in orbit, we are going to need to dock with the command module again. Okay, so that's good to go. We're going to set this as our target. We're at full throttle. 3, 2, 1. There it is. The ascent stage is on its way up now. Yes, it's doing it. Okay, so this is the North Pole of the moon, which means I think what we want to do is we want to go this way, right? Yes, we want to go that way. Okay. So we're going to try and correct our trajectory here just a little bit before we go too far. There we go. And now once we're at the top, we're going to inject ourselves into the orbit. So let's go ahead and warp here. And we're going to check our direction. So we want to be pointing, if this is north, I think we want to be pointing this way, right? Let's see. We want to be pointing this way, actually. Okay, so that's good. Why can't I? Oh, there we go. Okay. So we actually want to be pointing this way, in this direction, to circularize our orbit. Yeah, there it is. All right. Okay. So we're going to try and get some decent semblance of circularization here. Close enough. Okay, so this is where the tough part comes in, because now we just need to do a bunch of whole bunch of maneuver bullshit to get ourselves on the closest encounter we can with our target. So if we do that, yeah, there we go. Okay, so separation is 24 kilometers there. So this is the part where we just fiddle around with the maneuver nodes until you know what? We're going to warp there and do the maneuver because it'll get us closer. We're not going to be right on top of them yet, but we need the orbits to intersect first. And then we need to... because that is still not a sufficient... That is still not a close enough distance where we can just gun it straight for the command module. We're going to be going way too fast. We're going to smash into it, and that'll just be the end of... That'll be the end of the mission. So... we've got our maneuver there. And now what we need to do is, we'll first correct the inclination of this orbit, I think. So we're gonna, actually, how the fuck am I gonna go about this? Okay. The ascent stage only has so much fuel in it, so I'm gonna have to be a little bit more careful about how I do some of this shit. Okay, so we got that. So now I think what I want to do actually is get this here and try to fix our inclination. So let's see. Yeah, that inclination looks fixed. Yeah, okay, so that's our next maneuver, is going to be to fix our inclination. Who you gonna call? Let me tell you something. What? Okay, yeah. I don't think I've listened to that particular one. All right. Here's our maneuver. That's going to correct our inclination so it's more closely aligned with that of the command module. And now we should be in a better position to get the rendezvous going. So we're going to add a maneuver here now and just start doing random bullshit. Until we have an encounter with it. Yeah. Separation 12 kilometers. Okay. That is acceptable, I think. That means we're going to have to do one more orbit. Hey, Snake, you know how you mentioned the Bowser Genius song? I eat that slap up for lunch and dinner every day. Not meant to come off as cool. My humor is just that bad as a 15-plus year musician. Oh, you're a musician too. I actually never knew that. Today I learned. Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, I don't know if you've seen my my threatening music notation videos yet, but I have 3 videos where I just react to a whole load of that stuff. And it's a fun time. Between those 3 videos, you can actually watch my understanding of music evolve too. Kind of crazy to think about. Okay, so now I think what we need to do is warp to around this spot. So we're going to swing around the moon once and see how closely our orbits get. Okay, that is very good. So I think what we want to do now is first kill that relative velocity. Oh shit. Okay. I did not mean to do that. I meant to gently pull back on the throttle. Okay. So we kill that relative velocity. And now we have to take a look at our distance to the target and start making judgment calls about how to move towards it. It is still very much outside of our distance here, so let's go ahead and move ourselves. Yeah, we're gonna try and set ourselves on a trajectory towards the target. Great stuff, Snake. I found you through Noku's channel. Oh, you found me through Noku. Okay, very good. Yes, Noku. Oh, okay, yeah. We are on a course for encounter here. Separation 0.3 kilometers. That is actually a very good distance to be approaching the target from. That is the close encounter we are looking for. So from this point, we're going to, we're just going to warp to the spot. Yeah, I see it. I see our target over there. So we need to do a course correction again. We're going to kill that relative velocity. And then we're going to just gun it straight for the target. Oh, geez. Oh, God. Okay, hold on. Oh, that was a near miss. Okay. Hold the fuck on, dude. Okay, so we flew towards the target much faster than I was expecting. Yeah, that was almost bad. Holy shit. Okay, so oh my god. Okay, let's just cool out. Okay. Let's just cool out. We are within visual distance of the target. That's our first thing. Now, what we need is to where the fuck is the lander? Hold on. There it is. Okay. So, we need to point towards it now. There's the lander. Okay. So, we got it switched, and now we're going to well, we gotta kill that relative velocity first. Okay. Set this as the target. Okay, there we go. Perfect. All right, perfect. Okay. We have somebody, you gotta do the Kerbal punch. Hopefully not. You're doing better than Apollo 13. Well, look, to be fair to the crew of Apollo 13, they had a major component suffer a catastrophic malfunction in the middle of space. I don't think there was anything that could have been done in that situation to make the situation any better. Okay. Let's put it this way, right? The standard with blueberries and chocolate chips. Okay. So look, Apollo 13 was subjected to extreme unforeseeable circumstances. The standard we're going for here is like Apollo 11. The standard we're going for here is like Apollo 11, okay? And I don't think we're meeting that standard just yet. So let's go ahead. Okay, so we need to go ahead and shut all these engines off now so that we don't accidentally do something involving that. Shut down engine, shut down engine, shut down engine, and shut down engine. Okay, so here's what we're going to do now. We're going to move our crew from the LEM ascent stage back to the command module. I think we have all the data we need, right? Do we have scientific data in here? Review stored data. Here it is. Okay, so we need to move the we need to move our scientific data so that it doesn't get lost. You know what? We're playing in sandbox mode. Fuck it, it's fine. What is the standard if the first stove ever invented made the first ever pancakes? Have more faith, Snek. Okay, yeah, I'm doing my best here. Okay. So, here's what we're going to do now. We're going to bring this whole apparatus back to Kerbin. And we need to... Okay, so let's figure out how we're going to bring this whole apparatus back to Kerbin. We're probably going to have to swing around the moon one more time. But we're going to bring this whole thing... We're going to bring this whole apparatus back to Kerbin. And we want a periapsis on Kerbin of around... I think 30 kilometers will be good. 62 is way too much. 37. 37. 34. Okay, 34 is pretty good. So now we can warp... Oh, no, wait. The time to do the maneuver is now. Uh-oh. I put the maneuver in the wrong direction, but you know what? It's fine. Are we facing the right way? I need to control this from here. Okay, we're controlling it from here. This engine is active. That means we are good for the burn. And for a return to Kerbin. And once we have that, the lander module is going to detach and burn up in Kerbin's atmosphere, as is the CSM, command service module. Okay, here we go. Okay. There we go. Our command module. Yeah, the whole assembly is now on its way back to Kerbin. We've done it. Looking at the bottom left of your screen, along with the insane scale of the orbit system, has been cool to look at. I have no clue if the two visuals relate to each other. This, I actually don't know what this is. This is advanced orbital info, apparently. That's not what I'm looking at. What I'm looking at is, what I should be paying attention to is the controls here. This is telling us how much we're maneuvering to do certain things like stabilize the craft. So we have a periapsis of 91 kilometers now. So we're probably going to do one more course correction burn to bring that down to something that we can use for atmospheric entry. Yeah, that's how we're going to do it. So we're going to warp out here now. There it is. We're going to burn, and we're just going to burn retrograde until... Actually, wait a minute. Oh, we're not out of the moon's sphere of influence just yet. There it is. Okay, so there's a dibble-dabble text on the right too. Oh yeah, that's telling me how much of every resource I have, which is very important to keep track of. And the ablator is going to become important during atmospheric entry, so we're going to have to watch out for that. But periapsis is now going down. Actually, I think we want to do this burn when we're closer to Kerbin. So then we can bleed off a lot more of our velocity here. So we'll just go ahead and warp. Oh, if we were on a collision course with the third stage, that would have been really bad, but I don't think we are. The likelihood of that actually happening is astronomically low. So 30,000 kilometers looks pretty good for, I think, not 30,000 kilometers, 30 kilometers. 30,000 kilometers is a ridiculous amount of distance, so we're not doing that. But what we are doing now is we are going to be ditching the we're going to be ditching the lunar module. So I think we want it to go ahead of us. We're going to undock from, we're going to separate. Go ahead and move over this way. And then let the lunar module drift ahead of us. Hopefully. If I just do that. There we go. All right, and now comes the scary bit. Atmospheric entry. Atmospheric re-entry. So we're going to warp forward a little. Yep, there goes the lunar module. That's going to burn up in the atmosphere. No harm done there. Okay. So, here's where we're at now. We are rapidly approaching the surface of Kerbin. So what it's time to do now, we're going to wait until we're closer on approach, I think. Yeah, there we go. Okay, our periapsis is 30K. So, now is the time to separate. There goes the command module. And we're going to just get out of its way a little. So that we don't end up smashing back into it when we go in for atmospheric entry. And now we just keep our vessel pointed in the retrograde direction so that our heat shield takes the full brunt of the atmospheric heating. And it is time for us to... it is time for Jebediah, Bill, and Bob Kerman to go home after a successful mission on the moon. So we need to watch this heat shield very carefully as we go through atmospheric re-entry. As you can see, it is now glowing hot. I think that was the... Yeah, that was the CSM. Some bit on the CSM exploding as it goes through atmospheric entry. Hopefully it burns up in the atmosphere anyway. If it doesn't, that would be a bit of an embarrassment. Heat shield is now reaching critical temperature. Oh yeah, the CSM is burning up in the atmosphere as planned. Heat shield is getting extremely hot. Let's see. Yeah, our orbit is going down fast. This is probably the point at which we would be getting loss of signal. Where we would, where this giant fireball that the capsule has encased itself in causes us to lose communication with our base. This happens every time there's atmospheric entry on a space mission. Just because the amount of plasma that gets generated from the air friction and the compression of the air in front of the heat shield is so immense that it disrupts communications with mission control. But we are continuing to slow down here. Yes, we have picked the right altitude. Okay, so this thing's gonna splash down somewhere. Hopefully not where there's any civilian territory. But parachutes are now ready for deployment. We just have to wait until it is safe to do so. And once the parachutes are deployed, we can drop the heat shield and prepare for landing. Okay, there go the parachutes on partial deployment. That's going to slow us down to a much more reasonable speed, such that when the parachutes deploy fully, they will not just snap the necks of our 3 brave Kerbals. And I think we can turn off the SAS here now, because the parachutes are going to do the rest of the work of getting our command module in the correct orientation. It's a little bit of a bumpy ride because of the wind, I think. There's a little bit of windage. And it looks like we're going to touch down on land here. Thankfully, it doesn't look like we're going to be touching down on the side of a mountain. That would be really bad. Okay, yeah, the heat shield has been jettisoned, and until the parachutes slow us down, it's just going to be stuck to us. So when the parachutes reach full deployment... there we go. There goes our heat shield. We should see it make impact on the ground down there. There it is. Okay. Heat shield has been jettisoned and disposed of. And now, we just coast gently down for landing. Look at that. We have done it. We have successfully brought 3 Kerbals to the moon and back. And we have touchdown. Look at that. There is our friend Jebediah Kerman. Here is Bill Kerman. Jeb, you're back home. You can take your helmet off, dude. Alright, let's go ahead and do that. There we go. And now let's get... oh, I just got Bob out. No, I didn't. Bob is still here. Let's go ahead and, yeah. We are on the surface of Kerbin. You do not need the helmet, dude. Look at that. And they have successfully made it. We have gone in a sort of Apollo-style mission to the moon and back. What a journey that was. All right. So, we are going to get everyone back into the command pod now so that they can all be recovered simultaneously, and we're not going to have to, like, just do some weird shit at the tracking station, just recovering them one by one, because that is just cumbersome. Here we go. Go ahead and board. And once we hit recover, wait for the game to load a little bit. To the sound of non-existent birds. And look at that. Our crew are ready for the next assignment. Jebediah, Bill, and Bob. And we can now clear the launch pad for the next mission. Look at that. We have Jeb, Bill, Bob. Valentina will have to come with us on the next mission, maybe. Yeah. So, mission accomplished. We've done it. What do I want to do now? Not much, honestly. That was all I had planned for today's stream. You know what? Let's do a brief visit to the KSS real quick. Before we close out, because I haven't actually looked at the KSS in a long time, and I don't know what's in it. Let's see. We're gonna warp to the bright side of Kerbin, so that we can see the KSS in all its glory. It is a sight to behold. And there are more modules that I need to add to it as well. We got a science module over here, which is just doing all the science. Yeah, we got a science module here that's doing all the science. It's got a bunch of antennas and other random bullshit. It's got a spinny thing. It's got a spinny thing. It's got this big old thing. We got fuel here. We got electricity as well. This thing's doing its thing. This is the KSS, the Kerbal Space Station. So it's like the ISS, but similar, but a little different. Yeah, we need... Okay, so we've got a habitat. Okay, I'm trying to remember what we've got here. This is the science module. I remember that. I think this is some sort of resource module because it's got 2 giant batteries. It's got the big-ass solar panels, and it's also got a whole bunch of this resource here, which this machine then converts into the PKA meter. Yeah, you know what? That's what we can call... You know what? That's what we can call the spinny thing. This is the PKA meter, and the Ghostbusters will shove it in your butt if you call them again. Yeah, this is the science module. It's got a laboratory here. It's got more electricity because we, of course, need that. I think this right here is the central hub. Yeah, this is the central hub right here, which is where it all started. This is the crew habitat module, this is the science module, and this is the energy production and resource conversion module right here. It also has fuel cells for if we're on the dark side of the moon. Sorry if I keep referencing Super Ghostbusters. Nah, don't worry about it. It's funny. I like it. Yeah, and then we have RTGs here because those are just very useful. So yeah, this is the Kerbal Space Station. And yeah, that'll be about it, I think. That was all I had to do. You know what? maybe my next mission. Yeah, maybe my next what is it? Maybe my next idea will be to send a space shuttle up to the KSS to dock something onto it. What do I even want to send to the KSS though? Because we got like all the modules we could possibly want. You know what? I'll have to think about that in due time. But for now, that'll be it for this Kerbal Space Program stream. Like I said, bit of a short one because I had a plan, did a bunch of test flights off stream. We were successful after a few botched launches in the beginning. But yeah, I think that'll be about it for today. So to everyone who is tuned in, thanks for watching, and I will talk to you all later.